All right, our next game is against Manchester United, who have been flying high since Michael Carrick came in. 3 wins out of 3, including a tricky result against Fulham when they came back and won last-minute business. Even their signing who hadn't been doing too well, we got a goal there. We're going to see that young man finally cut his hair. Like, he's only got a couple more to go. We're number 4.
Yeah,
he's got the Tottenham. It was because they beat the Fulham. There's a Tottenham, and then they got the West Ham. That's how I remember.
Imagine if they lose to West Ham. My God.
That'd be great.
But Man United win this in their last 6 league games against Spurs. Drawn 3, lost 3. Their joint longest ever run without a win against us. Lads, it's Tottenham. And Spurs are unbeaten in 8 meetings with them in all competitions. But United unbeaten in the last 7 Premier League games and won all 3 under Carrick so far. Where do we see this game going? Is it going to be as simple as a Manchester United win? Or can we, away from home, we know what we can do?
I feel like it'll be similar to, some of these games. I feel like it'll be like quite open.
Yeah.
And we like that. So, but it all comes down to this game is won and lost with how Thomas Frank sets up. And I can imagine him going there being like, we'll just settle for a point or something. Going up to Old Trafford. Because I think he'll be scarred from the reverse game where we were so out of it, got back into it, and then, they came back in the last minute to draw it. So that's where
again, who was behind that? Vicario.
Yeah, and it's just, even now, bringing it back to Spurs in general, even like seeing the lineups, I don't know, like the thinking behind it, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I get annoyed because they don't put it in in player order.
Well, so annoying,
the club needs to change that.
It's so annoying.
So I'm like guessing the formation. I don't know if that's a tactics thing, but it's just, I just see him overthinking this early kickoff, cursed. So yeah, it does worry me a little bit.
I don't know what version of Spurs I'm going to see. So it's like quite hard to really differentiate.
First half awful, second half really good.
If I was basing it on what I've seen this season, I've only seen literally a game against PSG that we ended up losing, a good performance, away to City, good performance, and 45 minutes at home to City.
And I'd say the second half of Villa in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
We've only been good against PSG and City this year.
That's it. If you want to squeeze the Villa one,
2 games.
I've got to squeeze it.
I think you're being kind, but okay.
I'm being kind. Trying to keep us positive, man.
I'm being positive. I don't know. I would love to obviously see the second half version of Spurs. I think that version of Spurs can take a game to anyone, and I think that if you're being direct like that and you actually want to win a game and move the ball quickly, and we've still got enough quality to be able to do that if we take the leash off. But whether or not Thomas Frank sets up that way is a different story. Yeah. So I think we'll know. Yeah, we'll know as soon as the team comes out, but we'll also probably know within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I reckon probably.
That's the thing. That energy straight away.
Like if I see a midfield that's got Sarr and I see Gallagher in it, I think, all right, we're on for a game here. But then I also look at what the last few weeks of United have been like, where they're super high in energy. It's not going to be how it was, other previous visits to Old Trafford. And I think that Thomas Frank probably will revert to type, unfortunately.
Let's hope not.
Fingers crossed.
It'll be very, very boring indeed. We don't need that. Spurs winless in the last 6 Premier League games, but away form, still better than home. 5 out of their last 7 league wins this season have been away. So all of our victorious moments have mostly been away this season. Old Trafford is never an easy place to go to. It's not the same cold as it once was. But I do think, actually, on Saturday, it will have that energy of yesterday because Carrick's at the wheel. So you've got an ex-player there. They're buzzing from the last couple of results. The key for me is not to concede early against Man United.
We just do, but we did. That's what Thomas Frank teams seem to do at the moment, and that's where the energy gets sucked out. And you've got to hope that the Spurs away fans bring that energy away from home. But I just worry about, Buemo is really good at the moment. Casemiro, they're strong in the midfield. Bruno.
Mate, Casemiro, he's putting it in for his last shift for Man, isn't he? He looks like... I'd be well enough as a Man United fan.
Season.
But then again, no Amram, no constraints.
Yeah.
You've got a manager and character who will go to Casemiro. Mate, you've won everything. You know what you're doing. Go out there and do it. And I worry for this game because if we lose it, it's going to be back to all doom and gloom. Look how United have gone forward. They sacked the manager. We need to sack someone. That's what we'll be. I personally feel that Spurs have got a chance in this game. I think they won't set up in a way to try and stop us. I don't think they respect us enough. They can't say, what about Spurs, and then respect us and line up differently. I do think they're going to try and play the way that they want to play and make us try and counteract that.
But they don't need to change anything.
No,
Since Carrick's come
exactly.
in, he's been brilliant in terms of, tactical decisions. He's been very good. Team selection's been very good. He's just allowed them to go back to basics. He's basically done what Sir Alex used to do, so go out there, flat back four. You've got your wingers. It's basically 4-4-2 at times. And I think he's done a great job so far, Michael Carrick.
100%.
It would be someone that I'd be interested in the summer, to be fair.
Him,
Even before he went to United, he was someone that I thought would probably be quite a nice project if we were going to have a project manager again. So, which is it's always a project. It's never ending. Let's be honest. I don't expect United to change anything. I think it really depends. We've got to take the game to United. That's where I kind of sit on it. And whether Thomas Frank decides to do that or not, that will be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that with Man United and Spurs, especially the way the history's been over the last 6 games, it's very much so the team that is going to actually try and play football is going to be the victorious one, because we've all tried to counteract each other out to create the terrible final that we saw in Bilbao. I do think when we've seen Spurs go up, when Van der Ven set up Brendan Johnson in the back post and we went at them, I think Bruno got sent off in that game, didn't he? So he did allow up for a bit more space. I'd love to see that second half Spurs start the game.
Be so nice. Be so nice. Yeah, what? I don't even know
why not? Why not?
Because that comes down to the manager, and it always will come down to the manager. I don't know. Like I said at the start of the show, I don't know what happened in that changing room, but whatever did happen, I mean, hopefully that is the key to changing it all. Because I saw a completely different version of Spurs and a completely different version of the manager in that second half to what I've seen for the last 7 months. I don't know what the difference is, but that second half is what we want to see. That is attacking football, front-footed football, or just at least just giving it a go. And us as Spurs fans, even in the Ange era, especially early Ange, we are all on the same hymn sheet when it's we are happy to lose a game 4-3 if we have to. Just give it a go. What annoys us more is turning up and not putting in a shift. And with United, who are still beatable, I know that they're taking a turn and they're on the up and whatever, but lads, it's United. We've spent years being lads at Spurs, and the tables are turned, and I know how much it irritates them. I know how much it irritates them giving us that moment where we got the Carabao... where is our trophy even? That tiny little picture. Where we got our moment in Bilbao, in the Europa League. And I know how much that annoys them, because they're like, how can we be the team to give that to Spurs? But we've got a good record at the minute when it comes to playing United. So I don't feel like Tottenham need to... We're very fearful of people. And you can see that in the way we set up. And that's probably a reflection on Thomas Frank, because of maybe his days at Brentford, where they had to be more negative, more pragmatic. Tottenham don't need to be afraid of anyone. No. I don't look at any team in this league, bar Arsenal at set pieces, right? Because that's just given. I don't look at any team in this whole league and think that you should be scared of anybody. Just kind of back yourself a little bit. Look at the table. I know that we're not performing, and no one should really be scared of us, but that's because we need to back ourselves a little bit. Have a little bit of faith in moving the ball forward and being attacking, Thomas. I beg you.
Quick score predictions.
Shall I back? Yeah, I'm going to back them. 2-1 win.
3-2 Spurs.
Now to finish, it's time for our bet builder with BetMGM. Remember, you can download the app or head to betmgm.co.uk. Right, as I mentioned before, let's have a look at the possible bet builder we're going to do here. I'm putting it out there, Spurs to win.
Spurs to win.
Yeah,
I've got to be positive.
I think, we were saying it before, the form away from home is really promising, and just this run we've got against Man United is quite positive as well. The thing is, with Man United, I think they've looked good going forward, but that defence is still, Harry Maguire's come a bit into form, but I think you can get at him. Martinez, I feel like Solanke could pin him and, really, really do well in that regard. So, yeah, I'm going to pick back the boys. Dunk on him.
Right, Abby, both teams to score. Should we put that in there as well?
Yeah, I definitely think both teams to score.
Yeah, I think that's a given with the both way we play.
And we don't defend either, so yeah.
That's why they're having such fun matches for the Man United fans. But under 3.5 goals, I reckon. I don't think it's going to be like a fall.
The clean sheets have dried up for us slightly. I think we're obviously keeping more in the Champions League. But, yeah, I feel like, United, another 3-2 win against Fulham. They know how to find the back of the net as well. Lots of creativity. But, as we were saying earlier, Xavi and Dom will have something to say about that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, then. So, Spurs to win, both teams to score, and under 3.5 goals. That is our bet builder with with BetMGM. Right, let's have a look then at our confidence going into this game. How are we feeling confident, guys? Because I want to give our wonderful audience a little bit of something to hold on to.
End on a positive note.
End on a positive note.
I just feel like if we see more of that second half, then we can all leave this studio today being happy that, you know, if it was that every week, then we'd, you know, build that consistency and move up the table. But if it's the first half, then, you know, that's the problem. We are proper Jekyll and Hyde FC, and that doesn't give me faith in the manager, some of the players, the ownership that they're going to move this on. It's just the same old. But yeah, it's simple to me. I'm not a manager. I'm done with badges or anything like that. But to me, from an outsider looking in as a paying fan, there's just small tweaks there, and you could have a really good team. To me, it's just simple.
Come on, Abs, give me a smile with a meaning. We're going to win it.
I do. I think we'll win this game.
Oh,
no, I don't think we'll lose this game. And I think that, like Sonny said, give us some green shoots, please. Because second half was green shoots.
We'll take it. That's all we've got time for this week on Inside Spurs. A huge thank you to Sonny and Abby. Don't forget this show is sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18+, gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. And we'll see you next time. Up the Spurs!